I'm a landlord myself.
Yep.
And I know, Neil, now I'll plug you a little bit. I know you've been my guy for the better part of 10 years. And when I am buying properties, I always send you out to say, hey, check this place out. Let me know if there's any lead and where, if any. And a lot of times that is the process that we use in our due diligence to determine whether we even want to buy the place or not, because we don't want to deal with lead. Most banks or lenders, if you're looking for a long-term solution in financing your rental or your investment, a lot of the banks now, they won't even finance something unless it's lead free. They don't want lead safe because they know that there is that risk. But there used to be insurance for things like lead paint claims or whatever. And there used to be like ceilings on what somebody that was poisoned, experienced lead paint poisoning, what they could actually come back on the landlord and actually win. And then at some point they were saying that wasn't enough. I think it was $20,000. Was it, Neil?
17,500.
Okay. So that was like the cap.
The 17,500 became law in 2010. The Maryland Court of Appeals, which is the Supreme Court in Maryland, said that was an unconstitutional law because the child might be facing $500,000 of medical expenses over the next 50 years of his life. And to give him 17.5 was unconstitutional. So landlords thought they had protection all going into 2010, and then overnight it disappeared.
And the interesting thing that went along with that is they said that these landlords can't hide behind their corporate shields or corporate veils. And they actually pierced the corporate veil, saying that if you're actually sued on a lead paint case, that it's personal to the owners of those properties. And that really scared the living daylights out of the investors. Is it still that way today?
In Baltimore City, yes. So that's a very specific ruling that went against Baltimore City because the way the Baltimore City Code is written. But what most landlords don't understand is that even if you have a management company operate, if you have the ability to buy or sell the property, the law considers that you have control, and they pierce through all your trusts, all your LLCs, all your corporations, and it becomes personal liability. And there's just no way around that. And a defendant lawyer, somebody who defends landlords, they will tell you that most of the time you're going to lose between 97 and 99% of the time.
What I heard was, somebody tests positive for lead, and then there's a period of time, maybe 18 years or whatever, when they're 18 years old. If they lived in 5 or 6 places during their adolescent years, basically, they throw everybody into that bucket and they sue everybody. And then basically it comes down to you, the landlord, needing to actually defend yourself or determining, who all is going to pay the bill.
You're on target, but it's actually worse than what you said.
Okay.
Because what happens is they're going to take on those 5 places where the child used to live, but they're also going to sue every place that child visited and played. So it could be like 30 defendants in a because what does it cost the attorney just to put somebody's name on there? Even if you have a lead-free cert, you might spend thousands of dollars in legal fees just to get yourself off the lawsuit. It's just unbelievable. And the problem is, we all know that as landlords, your profit margin might be $200 or $300 a month. And you'll blow through 7 years of profit in 3 months of legal bills, just 3 months. So if you're certified lead-free, the chances of you getting sued go down dramatically. I mean, exponentially, because the chances of a child getting elevated blood levels from that house are very slim. And we say we deal with like maybe 3 elevated blood levels cases a month. So I've dealt with 300 or 400 of those over the year. 95% of them are in houses that are lead safe and not lead free. So just by going lead free, forget about the politics and the lawsuit, you just lowered it dramatically because people aren't going to get elevated blood levels because there's no lead there. Okay, that's number one. Number two is it's not a get out of jail free card, but it seems that most attorneys, if you produce a lead free certificate, they might send their lead guy in to check. And as long as it comes back lead free, they'll probably let you off the case. Now, that's just what I've seen happen. I'm not an attorney. It doesn't always happen that way, but you're still going to pay some legal fees. And once you get served with a lawsuit, you got to hire an attorney. So it's scary from that point. A lot of people ask me, should I own a property with lead in it? And here's what I tell them, because it's, some people have no problem with that. So the sophisticated clients that have lawyers and know how this works, as a rule of thumb, are not renting out properties with lead on the inside 2 tenants. Some of them will be okay with lead on the outside because the chances of getting lead poison from the outside is very slim. And the cost to make something lead free on the outside can be very high with garages and cornices and soffits and fascias. There could be a lot of different work involved. 80% of those sophisticated clients are fine with it being lead free on the inside. And the other 20% want it to be lead free inside and out.
What about if you had a rental property and it was, limited or lead safe, and you've sold that property and the liability, I guess they come and find you, right?
Yeah. So let's say you're a contractor, hypothetically, and I hire you to go remodel my bathroom and I give you $1,000 down and you disappear and you never do any work. I think the statute of limitations on fraud is 3 years or something. Like, you defrauded me, right? I have 3 years to go after you. Well, the statute of limitations on lead paint is 3 years also, but it's 3 years from when the child turns 18 and becomes an adult and can make a choice for themselves if they want to sue their landlord. So the real problem is that you have almost up to 21 years, which is just mind-boggling to me, that you can be retired living in Florida and start facing lawsuits that come left and right because they've got up to 21 years to go after you.
And I guess that's a lot of times why these landlords are calling up saying that they only want properties that are after 78, because at that point, it was illegal to use lead paint, and chances are, you're in the clear. There's no insurance for this, right?
There used to be insurance up until about 1990, give or take. And what happened was they started getting so many lawsuits, the insurance company stopped insuring people around 1990. The attorneys just go for the landlords because they had insurance. And then once you get a guilty verdict, the insurance company has to pay. When you get a judgment against you. So, but now it's a little bit different because there's no insurance. So there is still some insurance available, but only for large landlords are going to insure 30, 40, 50 properties and can get a blanket lead paint coverage on that. So that does exist. It's expensive, but I do know that people do get it, but it's only available for large landlords.
Interesting. I didn't even know it was available. So that's good.
Yep.
That's good information. So what are you seeing the claims now? What do you see people getting?
I see the attorneys getting what the person can afford to pay. So if the person only has 20,000 to their name, that's what they're getting. If they have 80,000, that's what they're getting.
What the person has to their name?
Yeah.
Like everything. It's all of it.
Exactly. Like if so a lot of the negotiation is just what you can afford to pay. And you might have to have an affidavit of your net worth statement. And if you don't have any money, they'll just take what you have. So having free and clear properties that are paid off is not a good thing. And the stress you're going to go through as they threaten you with all these things and these courts and lawsuits and judgments, it is so not worth it. I mean, I just can't explain to you all not just the money, but just the stress you're going to go through over a multi-year process as you deal with somebody suing you. There's plenty of landlords that do it right, have lead-free properties, take care of business, and never get sued. So it is something you have to worry about. It is as bad as we made it seem, but it shouldn't turn you off from real estate investing. It should just be something that you have to make an informed decision about what kind of risk you want to take to be a landlord in today's world.
Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.